All right, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from StreetScores, and the reason it took me so long to finally get this video started and out to y'all because I had to take some time to stop and actually watch some tape on this guy, because I'm not going to sit here and make up stuff and lie to you and act like I knew who this kid was before we drafted him. I heard of him. I remember him killing the combine, but I didn't actually know what his game was. Strengths, weaknesses, what he could potentially be at the next level and stuff like that. So I took some time to watch some tape. Now, granted, I still feel like there's a lot more tape out there that I need to watch. There's no way I watched enough tape in just that past 30 minutes to an hour, but I wanted to at least be able to go into this video with some sort of an idea of who this kid is and can become. I'm gonna try to give y'all my projections for him as far as a linebacker. Is he a coverage guy, a potential pass rusher? Is this sneakily one of our edge picks? Is he potentially a top tier special teams guy? All of that, we're gonna dive into everything and more. Of course, I have advanced stats for you. I'm gonna show y'all his athletic profile and everything. I even have some clips to show you of him doing things at like the combine. I have like an all 22 clip of him in a game getting an interception. So get ready to see all of that while I'm breaking everything down, and also how he fits on the team. Is he gonna start? Is he gonna make the team? All of that. But before we get into everything, make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, stiff arm the bell next to the subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned to all of the content. Really appreciate y'all. At this point, it took me so long to watch tape on him. I don't think I'll be able to live stream before we pick again in the 7th round, 245th overall, because as I'm recording this right now, we're already on the 221st pick in the draft. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get this out in time, but if I can, I do want to live stream so that, you know, I can react live. I can see y'all live reactions to the pick, but I doubt it. Either way, I appreciate everybody that pulled up for the 6th round live stream, who pulled up for the 4th round, the 1st round on my own channel, and shouts out to everybody that pulled up to the Commanders Kings for day 2 last night. Really appreciate y'all leaving likes, donating, and all of that. Appreciate y'all. Let's go and dive into this video right now, man. Let's get it. Adam. Oh, and it looks like the Seahawks just got Damian Martinez, but either way, that's not what we're here to talk about. That's not something I care about anymore. Let's get it. And shouts out to my boy Josh Taylor, because he asked, is this potentially like Drew Tranquil as a comp? We'll see. It was really hard for me to come up for a comp with this guy. I don't have my own just yet, so maybe when I talk about him again in my overall draft review video after I've watched some more tape on him and things like that, because this is more of like an instant reaction, and I just had to watch a little bit of tape at first so that my instant reaction isn't just completely ignorant. But maybe after I watch a little bit more tape, I'll have my own comp for him. But Josh Taylor, you know, I'm not saying, he's not necessarily saying that this is his comp, but he's put question marks, Drew Tranquil question mark, so maybe this is a guy that could potentially become that. Of course, the Washington Commanders selected UCLA linebacker Kain Medrano, picked 205 overall in the 6th round. Remember, we didn't have a 3rd round pick nor a 5th round pick, so after we took Jalen Lane in the 4th round, we had to wait till all the way from 128th to 205 to take Kain Medrano. And shouts out to Bobby Gold, because he brings up a good point. Medrano checks a lot of the boxes that Adam Peters looks for. First of all, leadership with team captain, like he was a team captain for like 2 years. Experience, he played at UCLA for 6 years, and he has elite athleticism, which all of those traits Adam Peters definitely covets and looks for in the draft. And speaking of athleticism, let's go ahead and get that out the way, because that's his biggest charm. That's the biggest strength to his game right now. That's the reason that anybody's this excited about him is excited about him. It's the athleticism, the ceiling, and the potential, because he was the single-handedly fastest linebacker at the combine. Out of every linebacker that ran the 40 time, he ran a 4.46, man. And among linebackers at the combine, he was 1st in 40 time, of course. He was 3rd in broad jump with a 10.5 and tied for 4th with a vertical at 38 inches. So, hey, I'm telling you, this guy is an absolute freak athlete. If you look on the screen right now, he has a 9.83 relative athletic score, nearly a perfect 10. The only problem is that he's a little underweight. He has a really good height to him. He's just 222 pounds. Is really interesting at linebacker. That is something that we need to keep an eye out for. But a 9.83 relative athletic score athlete is still insane. To put it into perspective, he has the 57th highest athleticism score out of 3,204 linebackers drafted since 1987. That's absolutely insane. See, one thing about this draft class, and really this entire offseason in general from Adam Peters, but specifically this draft class, one thing we definitely did was get way faster and way more athletic, man. Shouts out to Zach Selby. He brings up a good point. Washington drafted a bunch of athletes with their 4 picks so far. All of them performed among the best at their respective positions in at least one drill at the combine. Both Medrano and Lane had some of the best numbers among linebackers and wide receivers, period, across the board at the combine. Not even just 1 or 2 particular drills. If you take a look on the screen right now, shouts out to Rio Robinson for putting all 4 of these relative athletic scores together like this so we can see it just like this. Josh Connolly, 8.84, elite speed. Trey Amos, 8.37, great at speed and size. And I honestly feel like he's a little bit faster on tape than even he ran on his 40 time. Jalen Lane, only problem is the lack of size, but he plays way bigger than that. His hands are bigger. I already did a full breakdown on Jalen Lane, weaknesses, strengths. I had a comp for him. Kain Medrano, I'm still working on my comp right now, but I had a direct comp for him. I had 2 main comps that I think he could be those exact players at the NFL level, so go check that out if you haven't yet. But elite speed, elite explosion, elite agility. Again, just elites or greats all across the board. Kain Medrano, elite speed, elite explosion, and great agility. You can't teach those traits, man. You just can't. So Josh Connolly is one of the best, most athletic tackles in this entire draft class. Trey Amos is one of the more athletic corners in this draft class. Jalen Lane is one of the fastest and most athletic wide receivers in the entire draft class. And Kain Medrano is literally the fastest linebacker from the combine. Insane stuff. And then speaking of linebackers, going back to linebackers, because that's the main reason we're here. Between Kane and Jordan McGee, who we took last year in the 5th round, I mean, we have one of the most athletic linebacker duos in the entire NFL, especially when it comes to depth. Like, remember that Jordan McGee was literally the single-handedly most athletic linebacker in the entire 2024 draft class last year. Now you add this elite athlete as well on top of that, and normally I would prefer linebackers with some proven production, some traits that have like project a higher floor because they've been there, done that. You can see it on the tape. But not only do we have Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu here to take these guys under their wings and take their freakish athletic gifts and give them all of the nuanced technical refinement and instincts that the linebacker position needs. Like, not only do we have that, but then you also have the linebacker wizard in Adam Peters, who found Fred Warner in the 3rd round and Dre Greenlaw in the 5th round for the 49ers when he was there. And on top of that, 3rd, our current linebackers coach, Ken Norton Jr., was at UCLA with this linebacker, Kain Medrano, back in 2023, and even before that. So if anybody knows Kane and can vouch for him, it's Ken Norton Jr. It's our current linebackers coach, and he must have been pounding the table for this kid for us to go get him, especially instead of taking like an edge rusher, best edge rusher available, or even a running back. I'm hoping somehow Ja'Cory Merritt-Croskett is still available with our 7th round pick. We'll see. But at the end of the day, if Adam Peters trusts Ken Norton Jr., I certainly do. And I trust Ken Norton Jr. by himself. And I trust Adam Peters as well, separately. Them together, I definitely trust what we're doing with the linebacker position. I mean, when he was healthy last year, Jordan McGee looked really good for us last year. They got him in the 5th round last year. They developed him and all of that type of stuff. Adam Peters found him. Ken Norton Jr. developed him, coached him up. Jordan McGee looked like a success story and a still out of the 5th round last year when he was healthy. I mean, why can we not just automatically give them the benefit of the doubt that this guy's going to outplay his 6th round selection? They may have struck gold again. And again, even on top of all of that, to have Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu as your on-field coaches that day in and day out, team meetings, film session, everything, those are the guys that are teaching you how to become a better linebacker. So not only is Ken Norton Jr. already one of the best linebacker coaches in the NFL, already proved to you why Adam Peters has some of the best eyes for talent in the linebacker world of scouting, and then you also have Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu to be right there to give them every bit of game that they need, even when it comes to nutrition, diet, exercise, everything. It's insane. I mean, if there's any environment where Kane could possibly blossom into a really good linebacker, it's this one. I'm not guaranteeing that he will, but what better environment for him to get drafted to than this one? Also, I do want to emphasize that Ken Norton Jr. had a lot of time with this guy. He was the linebackers coach from 2019 through 2023 with Kain Medrano there at UCLA, and now he's going to be his linebackers coach in 2025. They took 1 year apart, and now they're right back together. And when you know what's really crazy, Now that I think about it, there was so many rumors and reports that the Commanders were targeting Oluwafemi Oladejo and Carson Schwarzenegger, who both happen to be UCLA linebackers as well, coming out in this same exact draft class. But nope, we instead went after the third one, which is really interesting. It's actually really crazy when you think about it. And again, just to revisit, I mean, this elite speed and athleticism, I love how Kane is like great at the thing that Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu also just aren't particularly strong at, and that's coverage. So there's room and scenarios where Kane could be on the field with those two, because they love to stop the run and blitz and get after the quarterback. Kane can make up for their deficiency in coverage by having their back there. So this is a guy that you can play on the field at the same time with Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner, occasionally in very specific packages. And now just to take it back a little bit further, because you know me, man, I'm going to do my research, you know what I'm saying? We ain't come in here blindly, you know what I'm saying? I only watched a little bit of tape on him, but I kind of got a feel for where this is going, because this guy was a 3-star recruit out of Pueblo East High School, and he was the number 10 recruit coming out of the state of Colorado as a receiver. He made the switch to linebacker, but didn't get a significant action until really the 2020 season. Medrano ended his career with 25 starts and was named the team captain in 2024. Out of all of the players they had on that UCLA team, he was one of the captains. But I do want to point out the fact, with him being a high school receiver, he had an absurd 21 touchdowns as a senior on 66 catches. Plus, he had 80 tackles, 9 tackles for losses, and 6 interceptions that same year on the other side. One of the best athletes in all of high school. It's amazing to me that he was only a 3-star recruit in the first place. That is crazy. And then also, just this past year, he was third team All Big Ten, who led his team in 3 forced fumbles. He's a playmaker. He also filled up the stat sheets in 2024 because he also had 72 tackles, 1.5 sacks, and he also had 2 interceptions, and one of which he returned for a touchdown, which you're going to see a clip of later. Shouts out to NFL.com. Lance Zierlein tried to do a breakdown of this kid, but you know, he's so far down on a lot of people's boards. A lot of people don't even have real draft analysis on this guy. He says strengths. Matter of fact, good news, bad news. I'm going to give you the bad news first. They said strong safety build, might be close to maxed out. So, again, at 222 pounds, that is interesting that he's a linebacker. It does sound more strong safety-like. Also, he said not enough pursuit speed to make up for lack of size. Swallowed and eliminated when blocks land flush. Below average play recognition and coverage, and shallow angles and poor tackle strength lead to high miscount. But how about the good news, the strengths? Good understanding of where he fits, run fits. Rushes downhill to constrict run lanes near the line. Decisiveness allows him to make more positive plays. Matches route breaks with quick lateral transitions. Could offer dime package value covering tight ends. This is potentially a tight end eraser. That may be where his highest ceiling is. And also extensive experience as a core special teamer. We're going to talk about that as well, because I think this guy may have some strong special teams value here. We're going to talk about that real soon, because I also want to point out the fact that this is a 6th round pick, y'all. Don't overreact. I really want to emphasize 6th round pick, near the end of the 6th round pick as well. Not even an early one. So why not draft a guy with some ceiling to become a potential difference maker? There's literally little to no reason, in my opinion, to draft a guy with like a moderate floor but no ceiling in the 6th round, just for the guy to not be able to make a team in a couple of years. I always prefer to take ceiling, take risk in the later rounds of the draft, and that is literally this guy. And at the very least, he's a freak athlete that can be impactful and maybe even dominant on special teams. I feel like his floor is a strong special teams contributor. I know we have Tyler Owens and Jeremy Reeves already, and Nick Bellore is a dog on special teams, but he can't play forever. Nick Bellore is already 35 years old, so I feel like Kane's floor is potentially to replace Nick Bellore as a Pro Bowl level special teams stopper. I think his worst case scenario is to literally take over when Nick Bellore leaves off when he finally calls it quits. Now, shouts out to WWD Expert Consensus Rank. They had him ranked 160th. So for us to get him at 205, they feel like it's a pretty good steal. And DP Brugler said, quote, Medrano must better balance being aggressive and improving his discipline, but his speed and hyperactivity level will serve him well on the NFL field. His experience and traits will earn him an immediate role on special teams at the very least. That's coming from DP Brugler. And then also shouts out to Chicago Football Connection. They show this play right here while he's tweeting, while he talks about what he said in his tweet. He said, I'm a big fan of UCLA's Carson Swessinger, and Kain Madano, who's number 20 on the left side of the screen when the play starts. Bears met with him at the combine. Medrano doesn't show up on the stat sheet here, but his instincts allow him to get in good position and force the pitch back inside where Swessinger can clean up. So even though he didn't get the stat for this play, he's being given credit by a guy that knows ball that, hey, this play isn't made without Kain Medrano sticking his nose in there and getting dirty. And then also, shouts out to Ryan Fowler because he brings up a good point. This is a similar approach from how Adam Peters took in the 6th round last year with Jordan McGee and Don Hamilton, Dominique Hampton in day 6. Kain Medrano, 6'3", 222 pounds. That will be a hybrid piece and likely core special teamer. He's undersized at the position but can fly around 4.46. It can earn snaps in sub packages to add more speed whenever it's like obvious passing downs and things like that. Also, shouts out to Ben Standig. Both sides of the ball need speed, and Medrano ran the fastest 40 time among linebackers at the combine, like we already talked about. He'll bolster the special teams units while also learning the Mike linebacker job, playing behind Bobby Wagner. But wait a minute. Maybe there's some blitzing and pass rush potential here as well. Now, the clip that you're about to see, this is him getting a pick 6. So you're seeing the coverage ability, but I want you to listen to the tweet from Devin Jackson and what he had to say about his pass rush potential. He said, Kain Medrano is forgotten about because of his teammate Carson Swessinger, but he has excellent coverage ability with 2 interceptions in 2024, but he also has pass rushing upside. He arrived at UCLA as a wide receiver, and his explosiveness at the combine showed that. Very fun player. But there's a theme here. Again, you have Eric Galko, who tweeted these 2 clips that you're about to see of him showing great coverage at the Senior Bowl and in his in games and things like that. But he tweeted, awesome pick by the Commanders to take one of the most athletic linebackers in the class in UCLA's Kain Medrano. He can win in all 3 phases of the game and posted 11.5 tackles for losses and 3 forced fumbles and an interception return for a touchdown this year. He showcased his blitzing, coverage, and movement skills all throughout the Shrine Bowl week. Don't be surprised if he challenges to play early for Washington as a rookie because he's ready. But that's now 2 people, even while showing his coverage skills with clips, that are saying this guy may have some pass rush upside. And then also shouts out the Burgundy blog because he brings up a good but funny point. Fast white linebacker in the 6th round, special teams ace on lock. And that's pretty much what that, I think that's his floor. I think he has the potential to potentially even contribute on defense. We'll see. And then also shouts out to Kain Medrano because he spoke to the media after he was selected. He said he feels like he's in the right place and said that he had a really good connection with linebackers coach Ken Norton Jr. Again, like I pointed out earlier, they reunite after being together for like 3-4 years at UCLA. Now they're back together for the Commanders. Also, I want to shout out Ben Standig because he mocked us to get Jalen Lane at 128th and Kain Medrano at 205th. So he hit home runs with his mock draft because this is one of the most difficult mock drafts to try to piece together. So shouts out to him for getting the 4th and 6th round selections correct. That was insane right there. And he mocked Benjamin Morrison to us in the 2nd round. And we ended up getting Trey Morrison because Benjamin Morrison was already taken before we even had the chance to get him. So shouts out to Trenavian Amos. I ain't gonna lie, I can see why a lot of people like Trenavian Amos even more than Benjamin Morrison. So Ben Standig at the very least was in this right ballpark the 2nd round, and he was dead accurate rounds 4 and 6. We'll see if he's right with round 7. He said Eli Cox, the center from Kentucky, but I'm not exactly sure why we would need a center, but that's interesting. Also, Jaden Daniels MVP on Twitter brings up a good point that if the Commanders don't draft a running back with their final pick, perhaps they consider undrafted free agents. Otherwise, the running back room is Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler, and then of course a mix of Jeremy McNichols and Chris Rodriguez to finish out the 4. Keep in mind that all of the running backs are on their final years of their contracts, 1-year deals. So if we don't take one with this final pick, 245th, we're going heavy. I wouldn't be surprised if we get like 2 or 3 running backs as undrafted free agents. And then also shouts out to Washington today. He brings up a good point too. Definitely like the players that they've gotten, but they still got some work to do at edge and running back. But at the same time, offensive line and cornerback went from one of our weaknesses to one of our strongest strengths in just one offseason. And again, like I've been saying, since y'all saw me live streaming before we even took Kain Medrano, you get Zadarius Smith as an edge rusher in free agency, I'm guessing, after the draft, and you can sign Justin Simmons as a safety in free agency after the draft as well. And let's go win a Super Bowl, man. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know if you love everything discussed in the video. Please still follow that like button, still follow the subscription button, still follow the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release a informative opinion video just like this one. I'm all over the place. You hear me tripping all over my words, making all kinds of mistakes. I am fatigued, man. Wait, my boy Dan Jackson got drafted. Wait, my boy Dan Jackson got drafted. Yes, sir, to the Lions. I love that. Yes. I wish I was live streaming so I could have celebrated with my Georgia video like I've been doing all the other draft picks. But either way, y'all see I'm all over the place. I'm fatigued, man. I'm tripping over my words. It's brain overload trying to watch all of these guys that were drafting, watching tape on them and trying to come up with comps, weaknesses, strengths, and everything. Eventually, I'll settle down and take a break. But I also still, and the Dolphins just took Quinn Ewers, I still got to get to these film sessions for these guys as well. And those are going to be exclusively for channel members only, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Of course, let me know in the comment section how you feel about everything in this video. Of course, Kain Medrano, how do you feel about his potential fit on the team? How do you feel about him as a special teams contributor, a guy in coverage, a guy that can potentially rush the passer? Do you feel like this is our sneaky edge pick that maybe people aren't thinking about? Let me know how you feel about his freakish athleticism. Let me know how you feel about this linebacker group as a whole. How do you feel about this team as a whole with us not taking a true edge rusher or a running back yet? Let me know how you feel about everything that's discussed in the video. Let me know if you agree or disagree with any of my points. I really appreciate y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all later with the next draft pick, 245th overall. I'm out.